What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today, BTC USD. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, my friends. It is the 19th day of December, and here we are, teleporting to the end of the year. $88,140 is the price right now. 7 hours, 57 minutes left in the day. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here, and let's get into it. You know, I'm starting to wonder if Bitcoin doesn't, in fact, come back down from here. While, over the past few days, we've been anticipating a move that would take us back up here. I'm starting to wonder if, because obviously we are grinding out this area, if because of this we don't have lower to go, and maybe we go just a little bit lower, we take out that low, people will freak out, we've got a lower low, bear market's on, and then really we've got like a double bottom, and then we come back up. That could happen. Not to mention, again, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but virtually every single time, and not virtually, literally every single time that the RSI has interacted with this line, that we've gone here or lower, every single time, we have seen Bitcoin's price drop a little bit lower, right? Here you bounced right here, and you did pump a good bit. You pumped more than what we have here, but you still went lower, right? Could we go? We didn't even pump as hard as we did back here. Could we go lower than this low? Absolutely, we could. We did that. We actually went lower twice over here. And then if we go back to this time in the RSI, when we were at this low, did we go lower? We didn't go lower than this low, but we got pretty damn close to it. Did we go lower this time from here? Yes, we did. We went lower. We went just a little bit lower, and still just a little bit lower after that too. And then here, if we look at this, we did have a low. We pumped even, and then we had a slightly lower low here as well. We keep going back. It's the same story, right? And I've showed you guys this plenty of times, I think, over the past month now. Speaking of which, it has been almost 1 month. It has been almost 1 month to the day that we have been consolidating. Typically, it's at this point, really, it's literally at this point here, we're 4 weeks into it, this point and on, that we can consider breaking out of this range. And we're thinking we're going to break out of it to the upside. We could see a lower low and break out sometime in early January. We could break out at the end of this month. It could be until mid or late January that we actually see some breaking out, but I do assume January will provide a lot of growth here for the price of Bitcoin. Yeah. If we're looking at this on the short term, looking at this on the 1 hour time frame. 1 hour time frame. 55 minutes left. You're pumping, you're finding a lot of volume at these highs, guys, every single time. But you're not going anywhere. It feels like an obvious top here. The only difference is this time we rejected. This time we rejected. This time we're kind of not rejecting. This rejection isn't rejecting. I could be wrong. Let's look at the 1 hour time frame, and then we'll zoom out from there, okay? We'll look at these indicators, and then we'll zoom out from there. 1 hour RSI, rejecting the overbought zone after getting overbought both times. That's not a good look. Finding support at the 60, it's a potentially bullish setup. But we'd have to move up from here. We would not be able to move down from here, right? We have 54 minutes left in this hour. If this hour, the 16th hour of the day, closes red, which it probably will, well, and then that is a relative high, and we probably do see lower lows, as we did this time, as we did this time, as we will this time. If this hour closes red. Now, if this hour closes green, and it seems fickle, but it's a fickle technical game. That's why it's called technical analysis. This is the 6th. You see down here, it says the number 16th hour of the day. We're on the 1 hour time frame, 16th hour of the day. If this hour closes green here or higher, you're bouncing off the 60. After ejecting the overbought zone, bouncing off the 60 can promote a lot of growth, actually. That can be a good thing. It's like bouncing off the oversold zone, but then rejecting the 40. That promotes some decay. Let's just see if we can find an example of either of those happening. Not really. Not really. It doesn't happen often. It's not a common setup to achieve. Well, here you bounce kind of off the oversold zone and bounce off the 40. That did promote some growth, but you rejected the 50, so then you came back down, unfortunately. I'm not seeing any examples here. Right there you did, but that didn't promote any growth at all. Maybe on the 1 hour time frame it's not as important. I don't know. I'm sticking with the thought that if we close this candle green, there's at least a chance that we do move up from here, that we don't reject. But at this point, I'm kind of anticipating a rejection. Maybe everybody is, and if everybody's expecting a rejection, maybe we do move up. The likelihood that we move up would be increased. Stochastics, to be fair, are somewhat bullish. The MACD, to be fair, is also bullish. I don't trust either of them, though, because we're moving sideways in a choppy land. The stochastics and the MACD are less reliable in times like this. 4 hour time frame. The RSI is abysmal. It is absolutely sad. It's god awful. Absolutely. Well, that's what it is. Lower highs throughout this whole range here. Yeah, you're breaking out of it, but maybe not. I don't know. You look really weak, man. You're just rejecting the same areas that you're rejecting kind of in this trajectory, right? Like just all the way through with a couple of blemishes here and there. Like I don't know. Rejecting the 60 is not a good look, but you rejected the 60, found support down here, you're back up here. I mean, it's neutral. It's weird. It's probably not really reliable, honestly. I suppose it's neutral. It's not necessarily bearish. It is truly neutral, but so is your price action. Stochastics technically are bullish. But again, you're in this weird area and you have found resistance at this exact point the last like 4 times. Doesn't mean you have to. At some point it's going to break. Just saying. MACD is still bearish. You are building bullish momentum, but the reality of this is you've got higher highs in your stochastics, you have higher highs in your MACD, and you have lower highs in your price. It's hidden bearish divergence. It's not a good thing. I'm pretty 50-50, if I'm being honest. I feel like the technicals, the charts, are very much suggesting that we go lower from here. But because of that, because of how screwy things have been, that makes me think that we might move up, right? Like it seems a little bit too quote unquote obvious here that we would come back down. It seems like this is the obvious setup. Like once, nobody saw this coming. Twice, okay, maybe the people who are aware that these things come in pairs or threes, they were aware. Some people saw this coming. 3 times, everybody's expecting this. Therefore, we pump. Right? Does that make sense? Makes a little bit of sense to me. I mean, that's the one thing preventing me from saying definitively that we do go below this low. So, throughout this video, I'm going to say, I don't know. I don't normally say that. Normally I do pick a side. What I'm going to say is both sides. And whenever one of them happens, right, not every YouTuber, but there are a lot of YouTubers out there that talk about crypto. We all know the guys that do this and the girls that they'll say it could do this, it could do this, and then whenever one of those things happen, they say, I was right, I told you this exact. I'm not doing that here. I don't care about being right or wrong. I was literally talking to my wife about this last night. I'm like, I really don't care about being right or wrong with crypto, right? I am right more than I'm wrong, and I still get a ton of hate whenever I'm wrong. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to you guys. It doesn't matter to me. Even whenever I'm right on videos consistently, I get hate for being wrong consistently. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And I get a lot of love too. There's so many lovers out there. And I appreciate everybody. But it's just, it doesn't matter being right or wrong. I'm not going to do that here. We're calling for both because genuinely we're in screwy price action. I think anything is to be anticipated. The one thing that I would say, while we are literally in the heart of this zone, and like we're literally in the center, the one thing I would say is if we go up from here, we're probably going to come back down. If we go down from here, we're probably going to come back up. I doubt that anything lower from here is going to promote a breakout, a continuation of this bear flag. I doubt a breakout from here is going to promote new all-time highs rally, right? Any pump that we get from here will get dumped into. Any dump that we get from here will get pumped into. That's the reality of it. And if it doesn't happen like that, it'll happen soon enough, okay? I thought I had a clear idea of what the end of the year would look like, but as of right now, I'm 50-50. I genuinely, because we're in such a screwy environment, if we weren't in a screwy environment, if I was just going off the technicals, I would say no problem. We are probably going below this low, contesting this low, and based off of our prior data that we've had throughout really this whole cycle, it would make a lot of sense to go slightly just below this low, and maybe that's exactly what we do. But because of this, what seems to be an obvious setup, every time we've had an obvious setup, you guys, it goes the opposite direction because people are emotional right now. The bulls need vindication. The bears need vindication. Meanwhile, me and hopefully most of you watching this, we're like, I don't care, man. We know the story here. We're going to be choppy. We're going to be sideways. And then January comes along, and that's whenever we're going to be moving up. Maybe some of you disagree. Maybe you think we're going to move down. That's still fine. We're still going to be choppy until January. Probably, right? Probably. I don't know, man. That's the thoughts there. Any pump from here gets dumped into. Any dump from here gets pumped into. What I will say is, if we dump from here, there's a couple of targets to keep in mind, right? From a low to a high, right at the golden ratio, we're back at the 382.5 zone. Should we find resistance here, the statistical probability of finding support at the 786 to the 886 is pretty good. So between 83.4K, let's say, to 82K, somewhere in there, a lower low than this but a higher low than this, that would be a statistical probability. This, in fact, would be the most probable outcome for the next low to be, should we go lower than these lows. Now, from there, we can do a couple of things. We likely would not just tear through and go lower like this. It's likely not going to be one fell swoop. That is probably the least likely outcome out of any of the outcomes from here. Okay, it can happen, but it's probably the least likely outcome. The most likely outcome is either we go here or we pump up, right? And we'll go over the upside in a second. But to the downside, the most likely outcome would be that we go here and then we bounce. If we find resistance at the golden ratio, absolutely we are going below this low. If we break through the golden ratio, absolutely that's a higher low, and then we can expect to see higher highs from there. Okay, we'll build into that. This is the end of the year right here. That little vertical line that I'm poorly drawing, that's the end of the year right there. So going into January, we might start to see prices above this, which means that it probably by the end of this year we won't even be above 100K, right? That's kind of the expectation that we're running with. Option 2, instead of going to the downside, actually one more thing. It is also possible. It's less likely. This is the most likely option, is that we find support here if we move down. This is a little bit less likely, but still more likely than going below these lows. The other option would be that we bounce, we get like a double bottom, right? The least likely option is that we come down here. Up or down, this is the least likely option. I guess the least likely option would be that we just send it to new all-time highs tomorrow. But you get what I'm trying to say, right? There is a possibility where we do break through this level and we get a double bottom. If we break through this level, I would be depending on that double bottom. We would likely not go to these areas. We'd likely bounce either just above, just below, or right at this level if 82 to 83.4K doesn't hold. If we move up from here, if this is what looks to be a perfect setup to the downside and the market makers are screwing with us yet again, we're going to look at the shorts and longs in a second here. If that's what's happening and we're getting some screwy price action, then we likely pump today going into next week. We might even get a week of pumping between now and Christmas, right? It is Friday, so the weekend is upon us. We have Saturday and Sunday upon us. Wouldn't it be perfect if we pumped this weekend? For the first time ever, we actually had a bullish weekend. And I say first time ever, it's like the first time since July, we actually have a bullish weekend. We leave behind a sizable gap. As soon as we take out these highs, it's Christmas week. Everyone's screaming, Santa rally, it's real. We're going to new all-time highs. We're breaking out, guys. It's happening. And then we dump for the rest of the year. And we come back down and we literally open up the new year red and filling this gap, putting in a higher low. Everyone's going to think January's so bearish, and we're just going to do the same thing that we're doing here. People are max bearish at higher lows. It's one of these two outcomes. I don't know what's going to happen. But I guess if I had to lean one way, I would say we're moving up. I would say from a chart perspective, the statistical probability would be that we go down here. But just because of this environment, because of my intuition, and because of my experience in this space, I'm going to guess that we move higher. And if I'm wrong, oh no, oh well, whatever. And even if I'm right, I'm not going to pretend that I'm right, because really the true essence of this call is 50-50. Like we're not going to be upset if we're expecting prices up here and this happens. We're not going to get depressed because guess what? As soon as we get a lower low, if that happens, guess what? We're going to pump up. As soon as we get a lower low from here, guess what? We're going to pump up. Like if we pump up here, we're going to dump. It's not worth getting excited. It's not worth getting depressed. Just go to sleep, wake up in about half a month or more, and then we can start getting our party on, okay? The RSI here on the daily time frame is sad but neutral. The stochastics are the same but more sad. And the MACD, in all fairness, is pretty bearish here. Now, if we can cross back up, if we can get some green momentum being built, I will say this indicator here might be the most telling indicator that we have right now. If we get a bunch of green like this, and then we get a false cross red, we just get a little red like that, that typically implies that we do see continued growth. This is actually a really bullish moment to bounce, right? Like kind of like back here, whenever we did this, but to the opposite effect. We're coming down. This was a bearish moment to reject, where we got that cross. And as soon as you got the red coming in here, that's how you knew that we were going to go lower, right? So I'm just saying in that same kind of context, but to the opposite effect, if we can get it to cross green today, tomorrow, the next day, it doesn't have to be right now today, but with a very small red reading, that's positive. If we continue to build, that would be negative, right? So that the MACD on the daily time frame actually might be the most telling indicator, depending on where we close by the end of today or tomorrow or the next day or whatever. But I've got nothing else for you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I hope everybody's prepared for really just anything, right? Choppy price action. Emotions are high. Mark my words, if I can make one call to be accurate on, if being right mattered, here's the call I'll make. Regardless of what we do, people are going to be screaming from the top of their lungs, I told you so. And they're going to be posting on X, they're going to be making their YouTube videos, they're going to be making all the arguments for why their thesis is right. And then as soon as that happens, that's when we go the opposite direction. That's if I had to be confident of one call, that's probably exactly what happens. As emotions are high, once people show their emotions, that's whenever we'll dump or pump, whatever happens from here. So right in the heart of the zone, this is what they call no man's land. If I had to guess, again, if you're putting a gun to my head and I had to guess, I can't walk out of the room until I give you a guess. And if I'm wrong, I lose everything. And so the pressure's on and I have to guess. If I had to flip a coin, I'd hope that that coin landed on whatever side brings us to the upside, because I think that we are, from here, probably going to move up, if I had to guess. The only reason that I'm saying that is because we are doing something a little bit different here. A little bit different. And I'm a proponent of different behavior begetting different results. But everything's so screwy, man. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Anything could happen. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Take care of yourselves, all right? Bye-bye.